I thought harder and harder about the things that I could have done wrong and the things that I could have changed. Maybe if I was a better baby, a better 5-year-old, a better 10-year-old, a better bingo player. My mum loved bingo, by the way. I still know every single associated saying with the numbers that come out. The more I thought about it, the worse I felt. I became cold, I became distant. Any friendship that I formed or success I stumbled on was soon washed away by my own negativity. I had bled enough. It was time. Couldn't go on. I detached from the past and only focused on the future. I committed to focus only on the things that made me smile, laugh and feel happy. I would leave the sadness behind. I realised that whenever something bad happened to me, all I had to do was focus on the things that made me laugh, made me smile. I called this my happy place. And one thing that I found about that happy place is it doesn't matter how I feel. All I need to do is think about something that made me happy, an event, an experience. And it doesn't matter if I'm in the now or in the memory, my emotions change. So if I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling angry, all I need to do is go back to a place where I remember feeling joy. And that will change how I feel. So what I found was the gift was hiding in the garbage that kept me safe, kept me hidden. And then I picked up that gift and I left the garbage behind. An experience that changed my life was climbing out of a clothing bin at 17 years of age. And let me just say, those clothing bins are very, very comfortable. They've got all that beautiful second-hand clothing in there. They're weather tight, they don't leak. They're very dark, so you get a great sleep. And being a young fella, I had plenty of room. Getting in's pretty easy. You open up the top bit, the bottom bit's all locked up. You climb up and you get into the basket, and you just pull it shut and you fall into a nice, or you hope to fall into a nice padding full of clothes. Getting out's another story. You've got to get back into that basket and kind of shoulder barge the door open. And as I mentioned before, they are quite solid, quite tight. They're very dark. And I climbed out of this bin, this clothing bin, in the main street of Beenleigh in Queensland, not knowing that it was 10:30 in the morning, not knowing that all the business people and shoppers and kids and whoever else were walking along the main street. And as you do, you're climbing out backwards. So I've turned around and I've seen a group of people looking at me. And a little girl said to her mum, "Look at the little boy climbing out of the bin." And it was at that moment that I said, I can't do this. The pride that was non-existent in the first place, whatever was left, was now gone. And it was time to change. But how? How do I change? I didn't know. I didn't have the opportunity that youth opportunities bring. I didn't have the tools in my tool belt. I didn't know the things that I know today. And I think we all say that. If I'd only known what I know today, how different would it be? I found power, I found positivity, and I eventually found choice. As you catch yourself saying negative statements, change them to positive ones. You only increase your own negativity and feelings of unhappiness when you focus on things that are negative. State now, not later. Not want, but have. Not going to, but is. If you believe it won't happen, it won't. If you believe that you can't, you're right. Very famous saying. Change your thoughts and modify your perception and remove past conditioning. Our thoughts are more powerful than we give them credit for. They control how we feel. If we can give today's youth a different perception on what life can be, what they can be, their lives will be different. I would like to say that if we could get every child off the street, every child that's at risk, away from that risk, then that would be a great world. I know it's very difficult, and I know it's one step at a time. I know in the 80s, when I was growing up, people were oblivious to child abuse. You go to school with welts all over your body and no one would ask the question. And I hope today that that question does get asked. But I hope today that we've given our kids the power of choice, the power to step up and say, hey, this is wrong. Something has to change. And until we do that, until we have the strength to educate our kids, my story will continue through other kids, and that would be horrible. So, I really want to say thank you to you all for your involvement in youth opportunities. I want to thank you to all of you for your involvement with the kids of today. I want to thank you because it's one step closer to not repeating my story. Now, yes, I do have the things that I want today. I have a beautiful wife, several beautiful houses. I have a beautiful life. But what cost did it come at? What cost are we going to let other kids try and experience what a life should be? And the people in this room, you all have the power to change that. Changing one kid's life would be enough to say, hey, we've done something. But to change hundreds, to change thousands, now that would be something. And if I was wearing a hat, I'd take it off to you all. There is only so much one or two people can do. But if you get together with a group of people that have a challenge, to have a cause, that's when significant change will happen. So again, I'd just like to say thank you to you all. And whatever you can do to help these kids, whatever you can do to educate them, get them to stand up and be leaders of tomorrow. One day they will be leading us. We will get old. We won't be able to do things. It will be up to them. So let's give them the best opportunity. Let's give them the opportunity to step up and be who they can be. Don't make them spend 33 years experiencing some of the things that I went through to become the person I am today. Let them be the person today, right now. So again, thank you very much for your time tonight. Thank you for what you're doing.